Well, and like I said, the bottom line is that specific people already have what I would call the red list assigned shooters in place. Now, this is something that people have got to understand. Look, the man that gave me the red list, the blue list, and the green list, the blue list, let me deal with all of the police, all of the military, everybody out there in the intelligence community. You who are going to facilitate the rounding up of your fellow countrymen will be terminated within 30 to 45 days by the very foreign troops that are here that are just basically taking your names, numbers, and they know. So
they're phase two. This is what the Russians always do. They use the locals, then phase two bring in other brigades.
Absolutely, Alex. And so the thing is that they're pre-positioning what I call their shooters, okay, their assassination teams. And by the way, I've had multiple law enforcement representatives that listen to this show, your show, my show, our shows, call me and say, you know, it's really weird. We thought you were full of you-know-what, Steve, until we started seeing these guys coming along who were observers in our department, and we were told by our captains and stuff not to ask any questions.
Then that's now mainstream news. You said that years ago that they're putting in Mercs and regular Army and Marines in departments. Stay there. This is getting heavy.
This is Alex Jones. Have you heard of the Millionaire Patriot? Well, you should. He has a free handgun and 5 days of firearms training waiting for you. That's right. You can attend 5 days of world-class gun training at Front Sight Firearms Training Institute and secure a 30-state concealed weapons permit, all for pennies on the dollar. Plus, if you act fast, the Millionaire Patriot will give you a free Springfield Armory XD pistol in the caliber of your choice. I believe now is the time that you and your family need to be armed and trained to levels that exceed law enforcement and military standards. Front Sight provides such training without any boot camp mentality or drill instructor attitudes. This is real. Don't miss out. Secure a Front Sight defensive handgun course, plus a 30-state concealed weapons permit for pennies on the dollar, and get your free handgun. Go to frontsight.com today. That's FRONTSIGHT.com. Go to frontsight.com for your training and free gun.
I'm going to flush the phone calls. I apologize to Barbara, Ken, Paul, Edward, John, and others. If you are in or around Hardin, Montana, Steve has people on the ground. We're just going to leave it at that. We need your video shot. We have found a bunch of videos put out by the locals where they're bragging about the FEMA camp, bragging about the Mercs. They've taken the local news down. Everybody needs to go to YouTube and type in Two Rivers Detention Centers, and you'll get a bunch of videos. Save them, post them on your channels. They are pulling these. This is definitely run by a secret Merc group. The town doesn't know why it was there, or they're not supposed to talk about it. This thing was just built. They admitted they want to put the new FEMA camps in Wyoming and Montana for the enemy combatants. That is mainstream news. I need Paul Watson to add that to his article. This is off the charts. What is happening. Also, if anything happens to me or anything develops, we're now on the White House enemies list. You know, mainstream news, Obama's secret enemies list revealed 25 names who president wants to silence and why. I am in the list of 25, Alex Jones. If anything happens to me, Fall of the Republic has been uploaded to remote servers. It will go up, but then we'll be basically financially bankrupt. Please buy the DVD in high quality now at Infowars.com. Get it. Make copies of it. It's just the timetable. Everything is coming together. I've got stacks of news about Gardasil killing people. We're going to go over that. I've got stacks of news about the vaccine causing deadly flu. We've got stacks of articles about enforcing nurses and medical workers and then protesting. Stacks of news, YouTube videos of regular Army, Marines, National Guard deploying from Tennessee to Arizona. Locals don't know why they're there. They're running checkpoints. The governor of Tennessee says don't do it. They keep doing it. I had state reps on about that. We're being hit from every side. They had NLE 09 last month. 14 countries to, quote, take on foreigners to, quote, take on American terrorists. That's FEMA's own press release at FEMA.gov. Steve Quayle, continue with this facility, the intel, the massive announcement that they came to a business owner and with police department, private Mercs with Hardin police on it, mainstream news, that's confirmed, and said, we have a list of your guns, and we want you to put a tag on them. Be specific about this.
Well, I think, as specific as you can get and as I can get is, look, we have gone on record, Alex, and are going on record and still are on record with the fact that the idea of throwing the United States of America under martial law is a given. The only question that's open is when. We are now, ladies and gentlemen, a country occupied by foreign troops. Those foreign troops know where you live, they know the guns you own, maybe not all of them, but enough to...
they have GPS to your front door.
Yeah, and that's for those of us that deserve Hellfire missiles. That's what I was told by a high-ranking military official. Now, here's the thing, Alex. This is something I don't think people understand what I said. We are under foreign occupation. You can't say the Constitution matters. It does to you. It does not to them. When Obama made the statement that he wants a private military police force, you covered that at length. What do you think this is, and who do you think these people respond to and follow the money? How does a $27 million prison just all of a sudden get built on the perimeter boundaries of an Indian reservation in Montana, stays dormant for 2 years? By the way, our governor is a great guy, Brian Schweitzer, in my opinion, because he's gone round and round with the hardened officials, and our attorney general said no importation of out-of-state prisoners, okay? And they're aware of this situation right now. So there's a war going on. And we have a states' rights issue versus the federal government's rights. We were one of the first states that said we won't submit to the confiscation of firearms, especially made in Montana firearms. The ATF came back and said federal law trumps state law, and that's what it all boils down to, Alex. But here's where we're at. We are right now experiencing the prepositioning of foreign troops throughout the country. We are also seeing the prepositioning of military hardware. I'm talking tanks, Bradley fighting vehicles. I'm talking being told specifically that if necessary, the U.S. military will bomb entire cities in the United States to deal with, quote, the resistors. You, by your identification on Obama's hit list, let me tell you what, Obama's hit list is nothing compared to the powers that be, the New World Order's hit list, because they have, and I think this is something that people have got to understand, this does not go on forever without a breaking point, and that's why you must do everything you can to understand like you just told people, they've got to have their food, they've got to have a plan, and they've got to be prepared.
Well, Steve, that's what our intel sources are saying, is that's why they're beating innocent people, going into the university, attacking at the G20, attacking women, releasing police dogs on old women in the shopping district, old women with bags saying, I'm not allowed to shop, and the police are like, Billy Club, attack dog. They have been told to do this to drive everybody into rebellion.
Absolutely. And see, this is the thing. The vilification, Alex, you remember I told you, identify, vilify, nullify, destroy?
We have the DHS report saying gun owners, veterans, gun confiscation, clergy response teams, libertarians, in the Fed protesters. My guys had the police come and say that they were terrorists and call them on their phones and say, you're on a watch list now, laughing at them at the G20. These are sickos.
Well, I got to tell you something, too. I will stand by my source. There are people that obviously work for the federal government saying my source is wrong. I will stand by her, with her. She is as solid as they come. I've had corollary. And look, let me tell you something, Alex. I have to have 3 confirmations by independent people, unknown to each other, usually from the military, intel, and I go out and I pull out all stops. Everybody is saying the same thing. Obama is choosing. Why Montana? He's purposely choosing Montana and Wyoming as this testing ground because, number one, we don't have the population to supposedly blow the whistle, and they can buy off the local small-town people, I'm told, for peanuts, okay? For peanuts.
Remember Delta Force in 99 making bribes in major cities. The San Antonio police chief refused the bribe, went public on this show saying just work with us in black ops for continuity of government. They have, and then they're choosing Wyoming, Montana because of the low population, because they can outnumber the people with the mercs and intimidate them and beta test. Can they have mercs as police? Can they do this? Can they build FEMA centers? And then mainstream news. I know Watson and Steve and Kurt can pull these up. In the last few months, they've announced that Obama plans to put the Gitmo people in Wyoming and Montana.
Well, absolutely. And see, this is the deal. I mean, people have got to understand, Montana has just a little bit under 1 million people in the whole state, where the fourth largest state. But there's a lot of stuff in Montana. We got a lot of underground bases. I mean, big ones. I'm talking huge ones, Alex, 4 square miles underground. And usually when you see these type of camps showing up, they show up in some of the most remote areas of Montana and of Wyoming. Now, listen, we're getting reports from the field of French and intelligence troops in log cabins near the Flaming Gorge Reservoir who've been met by Chinook helicopters and on BMW motorcycles and are having coolers, very small coolers, given to them. You and I talked about that, okay? Those are bioweapons.
You said a month ago you thought they might release the flu on Indian reservations. Then the National Post of Canada said flu shots with body bags are being delivered all over.